our spirit and let us sing our opening hymn together, Coming Home.
I return to myself, here where I belong. I am coming home, like a bird to its nest, like a river to the ocean. I am coming home. I return to myself, here where I belong. I am coming home, like a bird to its nest, like a river to the ocean. I am coming
Good morning. Welcome everyone. My name is Petra, and I'm your worship associate on this kind of overcast, was raining, but beautiful morning. We welcome you into this sanctuary where we celebrate diversity and learn from one another, no matter our differences, in order to deepen our sacred connections and transform the world we love. Let us begin our worship with these opening words by Reverend Michelle Collins. The soft, stubborn practice. Come to this time of worship, worn, weary, or wide awake. In this gathering, we acknowledge the pressure of living, the tender ache of persisting through uncertainty, the courage of continuing when clarity is distant. Yet we're here, still breathing, still reaching, still becoming. Today, let us embody resilience together, not as armor, but as the soft, stubborn practice of returning to ourselves, to one another, to the work of love. We are so glad to have you here with us today to continue how to learn to embody resilience. This week, we engage in the spiritual practice of listening, embracing the idea that listening builds resilience. Heather will get us started with some announcements.
Well, good morning. I'm Heather Norby. I am the spiritual life director for this wonderfully weird little congregation. Welcome in. I'm actually not going to share announcements today. They're in your order of service and will be in the newsletter tomorrow. I'm going to ask Adam, and did Dave make it in? No? Okay. I'm going to ask Adam by himself to come on up and share with us about the pledge drive.
Hey, how you doing? Nice to see everyone. All right, first of all, I want to start with a big thank you to our pledge team. Some folks are not here. Gail Rushford, thank you, Gail. Dave Mertz, Keno Hicks, and also the whole finance team. Lots of folks that are helping out with this. Thank you to Jamie Rhodes for just putting together a nice little tree display we've got right over there. So far, it's pretty bare, just like the frozen trees we may have in our own yards, but we're going to put some leaves on that later on. That's our Tree of Life. We're going to build that together. Now, you probably know that, of course, two of our people on our pledge team, finance team, have had very dramatic, sad events in their lives most recently. Of course, talking about Tom Bergen. So sorry for the loss of your wife. She's a really huge part of our congregation. And, of course, Waysel Decor has also had to leave an emergency to go to Turkey to take care of his mother. So we miss them. We pray for them. We meditate for them. And we continue their hard work in the absence. We will be contacting everyone over the next couple of weeks to have conversations with you about your pledge, your goals, your values, generosity, and your commitment level to UUCL. For those of you who may be new to UUCL, I want to emphasize that this is not a high-pressure experience. We really mean a conversation. Expect a lot of questions, not a lecture. Okay, so what is a pledge? It's the amount of time, talent, and treasure you promise to all of us throughout the year to come. And of course, you can do more than you promise. And of course, we know things happen. If you have to do less, you can do that too. We still love you. We're universalists. We know that God loves us as we love each other, and we aren't going to go to hell. So, no threat of that. All right. If you're ready at this next moment to make a pledge, we have a very simple form where we're going to put up on our webpage. You'll see it right at UCL, where you can talk to us about it. The UUA, of course, has provided what they call a suggested fair share contribution guide. There'll be a link to that on the web if you have no idea how this sort of thing works. We basically have 4 levels of contributions the UUA puts out. The first is being a supporter. That's where you say a congregation is a significant part of my spiritual and intellectual life that I want to support. Then we have the upholder. The congregation is my central community that I'm committed to sustaining with the programs and the ministries to my congregation. We have the visionary. My commitment is a clear demonstration of the unique importance of this congregation and of my spiritual principles. And then I'll say the strongest one, the transformer. I am deeply committed to this congregation. My contribution provides fuel for transformation and is part of my spiritual practice in living out my Unitarian Universalist principles. So there's like these 4 different levels. Anyway, you'll see more about that on that. The last little bit I'll say is the Fair Share Giving Guide is geared towards like people who know their annual income. It's progressive, but some people, they don't have necessarily an annual income. They maybe have an hourly wage, right? So if you know your hourly wage, it basically works out to so many hours per week of your wages, like 1, 2, 3, 4. How many you can sort of scale up if you think about that. And I want you to know that none of this has to do with us trying to suss out what your income is. That's completely irrelevant to us. These are levels that you give yourself, and it's just a demonstration of your spiritual commitment. If you want to consider this as your before tax, after tax, before you got to pay for your food and shelter, after you pay for your food and shelter, I don't care. It has to do with your level of commitment, and certainly more money is not going to get you into heaven. You're going to heaven anyway. So don't worry about that. All right. I think I've done about 4 minutes, so I guess the last minute I'll just say, of course, we got the Tree of Life display over there. We have set an ambitious, beautiful dream budget that involve, number 1, ordaining Heather and paying her a fair salary. That's great. It involves rehiring an office administrator, such as Helen was in our position last. You're doing a quarter time. It involves paying Isaiah, our music director, a quarter time salary. It involves having our, thank you, Isaiah. It involves having our director of religious exploration, Melissa, get a quarter time salary. And it involves such wonderful things that the committees have requested, such as repairing the shed, tinting our buildings so we don't have to worry about termites, getting new flags and displays, perhaps having an advertising budget so our communications committee can talk about this. And anyway, you'll know more about that. I've used my time up. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Adam. And I just want to say that Dave Mertz is also here, and he has been partnering with Adam on this Tree of Life. And so the idea is to bring it to life with some green leaves. And so I think it's as we reach every $2,000. Is that correct? For every $1,000 or $2,000, they'll let you know we're going to put a green leaf on it. And so, as your pledges come in, we'll keep putting on some green and bringing it back to life. Yay.
The dream budget is $140,000.
The dream budget is $140,000. We can do it. Okay. Thank you. The only other thing I want to add is that Adam and I would like to get a starting point course going. This is, if you're new to UU, if you want to learn more about Unitarian Universalism, more about who we are as a congregation, these sessions are meant for, it's a starting point. And of course, if you are a longtime member and wish to take a refresher course or to just come and get to know new people, we ask that you join us. So we're trying to get people signed up because we want to start next week, hopefully, after service. Anyway, we have to kind of assess everybody's schedule. So Adam and I will meet with people maybe on the patio after service if you're new and want to take these courses, and we can set up a schedule. There's 4 sessions, and you don't have to be new. Okay. I said that. Most people who take these sessions end up becoming a member, which we will do a membership ceremony at the end of March, but you don't have to. Again, we're a no-pressure kind of congregation, and some people choose to just remain as a friend, which is fine too. This is how you're comfortable. The point is we're getting to know each other, okay? That's what that's all about. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to create our sacred space by lighting our chalice.
The flaming chalice is the symbol of this Unitarian Universalist faith. We light it each Sunday, as do UU churches around the world, to create sacred space, to connect us with one another, and to remember who we are as a people of faith, a people who persist with love, who resist the forces of violence, fear, and control, and who offer resilience through our theologies of interdependence. Nikki, would you light the chalice for us today? As we light our chalice today, let us recite together the declaration and the covenant we make to ensure that our shared Unitarian Universalist value of equity enlightens the world. We declare that every person is inherently worthy and has the right to flourish with dignity, love, and compassion. We covenant to use our time, wisdom, attention, and money to build and sustain fully accessible and inclusive communities. Thank you, Nikki. Oh, and now we are to rise in body or spirit and sing in English and Spanish, Spirit of Life.
would like to invite our young and young at heart to come forward. A small crowd today, that's all right. It's definitely good enough. Quality over quantity. Hi. Okay. So I have a question. Do you listen to music? A lot. You what? Okay. Elizabeth. Oh, okay. Oh, you're speaking for your sister? Okay, good. You both do. Excellent. How do you listen to it? Like, where do you find this music that you listen to? Spotify? Yeah. Yeah. So you stream it on your phone? Okay, on your phone, Spotify on your phone. Yeah. Yeah, I've been doing that for quite a while too. Yeah. So, do you listen alone or with other people? Alone? Okay, alone. Does anything special happen when you listen to the music? You go nuts? Yeah. Dance. Dancer. Yeah. Just let loose. Absolutely, let loose. You let loose when you listen to music sometimes. It's okay. I know this one does. Yeah. So when you listen to music with others, how does that feel? Do you ever listen to music with others? Yeah. A dance party with your family? Yeah, listen, my daughter and I, we used to have dance parties all the time. Yeah, it's important. It's fun. I don't know, your mom has a look on her face like, I don't know about that. Dance parties are cool. Yeah, sometimes when we listen with others, it changes the energy between us, and then we feel like dancing. Sing along. Well, I've always been a music lover. My dad used to play the guitar in a band, and so I think that kind of got me started. But when I was young, we didn't have streaming services, so we had these sorts of things. Do you know what these sorts of things are? Yeah, yeah. This one, yeah, it's a disc that we put on here. Yeah, it's a disc thingy. Sure. Do you know what this is down here? It's a thing. It's a thing. It plays music. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Okay. The 8-track. So my dad still has his 8-track in his basement, but he lives in Wisconsin, so we couldn't transport that down. Right. So this is called a cassette player. And actually before cassettes, we had records. And then after cassettes, we had CDs. So let me show you. There's a CD player in here, but like this is from 1996, and I tried using it last night, and it's not really. Yeah, this is a little CD player here. Yeah. So is also a radio. Yeah, it's a boom box with three different a boom box. Yeah, it's a boom box, y'all. I'm that old. And I'm also this old. So I was going through my records yesterday, and I found a record with dinosaurs on it. And we're not going to make it. And on it was written in marker the name Pennington. Well, Mrs. Pennington was my kindergarten teacher. And so I was like, okay, I really want to share this record. Can I share a song with you about dinosaurs? Okay.
The second song? there's lines in the, there's like these clear lines on the record. If you see like a smaller one, it's like a short song, or a wider one, it's like a long song.
Cool.
You showed me and I still couldn't tell. I saw the lines,
I still don't know how they put music in these things. It's really cool.
Well, I'll just say, come to Isaiah's next listening party and we'll teach you how to play a record.
I mean, they're coming back. It's like all the rage.
It is. So I taught kindergarten for like 5 years, and I can tell you dinosaurs are not in the curriculum anymore. It's very, very sad. Very sad. So I'm so grateful that you all shared that experience with me. Thank you. But I want to know, and you are welcome to stay for the service, or you may go out with Rowan and Athena if you want. It's up to you. But I want to know what kind of music you want to share with everybody.
What's your band? What's your favorite band? Or singer?
That's okay. You can think about it, write it down, get it
It's
straight
trailing.
away. Get it straight. Yeah, yeah.
Demon Hunters. Huntrix for K-pop Demon Hunters.
Oh, Hendrix from K-pop Demon Hunters. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, okay. Well, thank you so much for listening with me. We're going to do more listening. Like I said, you can stay or not. It's totally up to you. Thank you. Thank you, Athena. Thank you, Rowan. Sharing of abundance. I just will mention real quick that Melissa and Jerry had to fly out of town because Jerry's grandmother passed away. Y'all, Jerry is older than I am, just saying. And my grandma passed away years ago, so she was, I think Jerry's grandma was in her late 90s, so they are in Colorado. And so thank you, Rowan and Athena, for stepping in. Petra will get us going. Thank you.
Here we gather, tucked back in this friendly neighborhood between the beautiful tall pines. We are a small church with big aspirations. We can achieve those aspirations if everyone gives of their time, talents, and treasures. Our shared Unitarian Universalist value of generosity calls us to be faithful UUs by covenanting with one another to freely and compassionately share our presence and resources. This is the time in our service when we are given the opportunity to share. The ushers will now pass our plates.
Thank you. You may notice that our order of service is a little bit different today. I'm going to do the healing candle, but before I do that, I'm going to read from the book, and then we will do that and have just a quiet moment. Sorry, this is the hard part of the service for me. First, let me read from the book, and then I will say what I have to say about Marcia. Okay. This is a joy from Nancy and Tom Morse. Yesterday, Gail organized a wonderful tour at the Polk County History Center to learn about the first Floridians. This was an auction item, and 10 UUCL members enjoyed the tour and then went out for lunch. Thank you, Gail. Thank you, Gail. It was wonderful. You are enough seems like the hardest thing to hear and receive sometimes. Remember this week as we go along that in this country and in this times, let's remember anyone in our lives who we love and take the time to let them know, thank you for being in my life and being enough. From Jay. Thank you. Julia says she is grateful to be here today and among my faith family. Thank you. And Kino writes, we note with sadness this past week the passing of civil rights icon Jesse Jackson, age 84. Since I was his massage therapist for a brief period, I felt a special connection. We UUs can identify with his statement, we dare to dream of a reality that ought to be. Indeed. Okay. And of course, I shared that Marcia Bergen passed away this week. Tom was by her side, and Jen and I were there with him. And I know we all feel that Marcia was one of the sweetest people we ever met, and we appreciate everything she did for this congregation. I know she loved us too. She did our newsletter every week for years. And so we're going to miss her every Sunday morning, coming in the doorway, smiling, and just being the wonderful person that she was. Petra, would you please light our healing candle? Thank you. Nikki wrote a poem, and I asked Nikki and Tom if it would be okay if she read it for Marcia.
As you know, Marcia worked on the newsletters that we would get. And so most of this poem is taken from lines from the newsletters, and it's titled Lines from the Newsletters. Welcome. This week is an invitation. Join us. Join us for popcorn theology. Join us for writers group. Join us for Thanksgiving, turkey and stuffing provided. If you don't have anywhere to go, you do now. Our theme this month is belonging. This Sunday is our water ceremony. If you forget your water, we will have some for you. We are all connected. Our condolences for, in celebration of the life of. Here is where we will meet. Remember to bring your water. We are all connected. Her vial of water was a smile in the crowd, a gentle word in the aisle, and the work of an operator conducting our calls for community. Connecting voices through empty space. The noticer of moments, the scribe of our chances. Water swirls together in a crystal bowl, dispersed in a new arrangement of the same. And likewise, a smile in the crowd can now be found in new moments, not bound to an aisle. This theme is belonging. We are all connected. I wonder if it sounds like, join us. Join us. This is an invitation. Welcome.
Thank you, Nikki. The scribe of our chances. I love that. That indeed she was. I offer you this prayer. Spirit of life and love, hold us tenderly today as we mourn the loss of our beloved. Let us be generous with our support for Tom as he navigates a world without Marcia. Guide us all towards a greater understanding of this human condition, of life and death, of our purpose on this living planet that travels around a fiery star, a small blue dot in a vast galaxy. Spirit of mystery, plant in us the seeds of meaning, and may we grow towards the light, even as we grieve. Blessed be. Should we breathe together? Take in a deep breath and hold it for 3 counts. And release. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Connection. Connection is essential for resiliency. Think about a simple piece of fabric. In order to withstand crushing, tearing, and deformation, the fibers must be tightly packed, interconnected, and cohesive. As a community, we are not much different. Our resiliency is determined by our interconnectedness. We will not withstand the crushing, tearing, and deformation by the hands of a fascist government if we do not build a resilient community. Therefore, we must tend to our relationships. How deeply do we know one another? Can we call on each other for support? How do we address conflict so that it is creative, bringing us closer together instead of tearing us apart? If we can answer those questions well, we have embodied resilience. And so this month, as we've explored this theme of resilience, I've shared with you about the Arabian Majlis, places of sitting, talking, and discernment, a cultural phenomenon that keeps communities strong and durable. I read to you my piece of visionary fiction, a story that incorporated the concepts of organizing for transformational justice, a system of justice that understands that humans are complex, a system of justice that brings us together, one that does not criminalize and isolate. And last week, you were able to gather together in multi-generational groups for creative spiritual play, a way to strengthen our bonds across generations. So for today's service, we are going to experiment. We say that Unitarian Universalist churches function as laboratories for spiritual growth, allowing members to experiment with beliefs, values, community, and worship. So when I say we're going to do something different today, and you are not at all surprised, then I know we're doing something right. So today we're going to have a listening party. According to an article in an online magazine called Dazed, listening parties are everywhere right now. Yeah. In an era, they say, in an era where listening to music largely happens via streaming services, in-person listening parties offer an alternative which demands our time and attention and fosters community in the process. In November, I did a worship service with Harper, and she touched upon how important it has become in her own life to turn off the phone and to engage with physical media, VHS, CDs, records, because those things are tactile, you can hold them, and the process of picking one out is something that helps you to slow down and be more intentional. And then just last month, Isaiah brought up the idea of having listening parties here at UUCL, an opportunity for us to bring in our physical media and share with one another. Go for it, I said. And so we organized one last month, and he invited people from other local organizations who share our values. And a few people who we didn't know came to sit with us. And we listened, and we connected, and we've been networking with them since we did that. And that is exactly what we should be doing at church, connecting so we may build resilience. Music is a way to share the depth of our souls with one another, and that's the point of Isaiah's listening parties. It is another path to becoming woven tightly together, interconnected and cohesive, so we can withstand the crushing, tearing, and deformation that is happening in our world right now. Today, we will connect by listening to music and to poetry. Nikki's poetry. This listening is intended to be a shared experience. This listening will be intentional, not something to scroll past. We will sit with it, feel it, and share it together. So please turn off your cell phones, put them away, hide them from yourselves. And then let's take some breaths together. Sip on tea or coffee or whatever you might have. Settle in. Return to yourself in this spiritual home of ours, our little nest of creativity. If you picked up stones for your joys and sorrows, you may hold on to them. If you haven't, you may go get them and hold on to them while you listen. And we will begin. Gatherings known as hush harbors, where enslaved people met to worship away from the supervision of overseers. Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name is a significant African-American spiritual from the slavery period, often sung in these secret hush harbors to signal meetings or express coded messages of freedom. These songs blend African musical traditions with Christian theology to provide spiritual, emotional, and sometimes literal escape. Hush harbors were a place for enslaved people to embody resilience. So hush now and listen.
Hush, hush. Somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush. Somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, oh my Lord. What shall I do? What shall I do? Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do? Sounds like justice. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like justice. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like justice. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, oh my Lord. What shall I do? What shall I do? Oh my Lord, oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do?
Nikki.
I got a step still this time. This is titled Buried Before Winter. There is a version of you that you were not permitted to have in the house, like a wild animal that you hugged and cried over while your mother screamed in horror and grabbed the broom to chase it out. In between chores, you watched out the window to see if it would come back. Maybe you convinced yourself it wasn't really practical to keep. Good Lord, he's digging up my garden beds. Maybe some parts gave everyone a fright. I think they only hiss like that when provoked. And this beast of you, who you loved, disappeared somewhere between the back porch and the first snow. There's no way it would survive. You check the snow for footprints every day. Winter was the silence of an orchestra with blank white sheet music on every stand. But the rustle of pages turning, the rustle of things coming alive is calling you to remember. The wild in you was buried before winter, in a burrow of fermenting berries and spiced leaves, waking only to roll over and take another bite before sinking back into drowsy stupor. The players of spring are tuning up, the string pluck plinks of icicle drips melting and crocus sprouts drumming up through frosted soil are sounding the alarm. You are the mother of your house now, and your creature will amble back to you, back through sopping chilled mud, fur matted, hung over from hibernation wine, and it wants to be held.
sleep without tears. If we only have love, with our arms open wide, then the young and the old will stand at our side. If we only have love, love that's falling like rain, then the parched desert earth will grow green again. If we only have love, for the hymns that we shout, for the songs that we sing, then we'll have a way out. Oh, if we only have love, we can reach those in pain. We can heal all our wounds. We can use our own names. If we only have love, we can melt all the guns and then give the new world to our daughters and sons. If we only have love, then Jerusalem stands, and then death has no shadows. There are no foreign lands. If we only have love, we will never bow down. We'll be tall as the pines, neither heroes nor clowns. If we only have love, then we'll be only men, and we'll drink from the grail to be born once again, and with nothing at all but the little we are, we'll have conquered all time, all space, the sun and the stars. The stars.
This is titled Wellspring. There are days when the dust of summer settles, the sun stretches out over the pond, and you can see the butterflies chasing each other. The air gets clear enough that you notice what the birds are carrying in their beaks, and the dragonflies are all different colors, iridescent blue-green and magenta, with wings like a hologram. And you recognize that the duck with one foot hobbling to the pond is the same one your husband saved last spring. When it's like this, I believe it can still happen. The things I've hoped for, the things I'm still waiting on. I forget about my body for a while and I'm vivid as dragonflies. I'm not sure if it's like the dead rising from graves or like seeds blooming from sediment or moths biting through their cocoons and climbing out to dry their wet wings. Maybe they're all the same because because, God, I'm awake and mostly here. It's a fine line between awake and unhinged, and I know I will fall to both sides of that line. But on either side, I still have hope, despite everything, that it can exist. My farm, my wellspring, my words, it may not happen the way I planned it, but it doesn't have to. I've dreamt it for so long, it has gained its own sentience. I'm happy to watch it grow. I don't need to own something to love it. The moment I'm in, watching cardinals and finches making nests on my neighbor's tree, moths weaving through the cattails swaying in the water, you can hear the grass, hear their wings. Hold your breath and you can almost hear the moment when the tadpoles sprouted legs. It was the slightest ripple in the muddy olive green water. You'd hardly know it, but everything changed. This is titled Weeds. Strawberries were just starting to blush, nestled under sprawls of vines and leaves. The row carried on until the fruit faded to scarlet freckles in the distance. I pulled the weeds that had crept in, little verdant sprigs with tendrils for roots, spiky branchlets with rugged yellow blooms, until my tiny radius was bare, save the dark sandy soil and rich compost. I looked up in clueless pride of my perfect dirt, but the farmer sighed. Don't you know that anything worth doing is worth doing a half-assed job? He powered ahead, grabbing formless handfuls of weeds, artlessly casting the torn plant matter into the path. It can't be perfect because we've got too much work to do. The long row of berries waited on us, and the sun burned my feet through my black rubber boots. I followed suit, chaotically grasping fistful after fistful of shaggy weeds, ripping out and forgetting, staying low, moving swiftly. It doesn't need to be good, it just needs to be done, he said, his wiry arms chugging mechanically, joints creaking like unoiled cogs, muscle memory like a migratory pattern. At the end of the row, I shook the sweat off my glasses and peered at the stretch of strawberries, flanked by grassy gutters of uprooted weeds. At the distant end, I saw my patch of perfect dirt, manicured like an over-tweezed eyebrow, spotless like a pressed dinner napkin folded at the end of a long, rugged picnic table. It looked ridiculous. I laughed into the field at how long I had stayed agonizing over that 4-foot square compared to how far I came once I left it. When I got home, I washed only half the dishes in the sink. I folded just the t-shirts, and I left the towels for later. I wrote a few bad lines to a poem about strawberries. For something as wild as growth, perfection is a hindrance. The weeds will always come back. Make sure there's enough space for the berries, and keep moving.
Do you want a sacred noodle? Okay, thank you. The thing about leading a fellowship congregation is that you're all going to do what you want, despite what I say and the directions I give. But sometimes it just works out better that way. So thank you for going ahead and putting your joys and sorrows stones in. I hope that listening while you were holding the stones representing your joys and sorrows helped to expand the meaning of those joys and sorrows in the context of listening and in the context of community. And may the threads of love and of resilience weave themselves together for us and for all of you this week. Thank you for listening today. And with that, I'll invite Petra to read our closing words.
Our closing words today are May Resilience Cascade by Reverend Dr. Rebecca Savage. We have blessed each other with word and song. We have embraced the greater truth of our resilience, one that is terrifying to systems that would keep us isolated, afraid, and angry. For when we come together, we remember who we are and whose we are. We are a living tradition of people who love fiercely, serve mightily, and journey humbly with the Spirit. May we depart in peace. May we depart as beloveds held together in spiritual community. Wherever we are, wherever we go, may resilience cascade within us until we are together again. And now our closing hymn, Go On Your Path, composed by Scott Rowe.
It's short, don't worry.
Very short.
Go on your path with a song so sweet that everywhere you are there is love all around. Go on your path with a song so sweet that everywhere you are there is love all around. Go on your path with a song so sweet that everywhere you are there is love all around.
And now, if you will help me extinguish the chalice. Nikki, would you go down and do that? Both of them. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of love, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world.